Welcome to part 4 of our Cheltenham Anti-Post video chats with the Bookies foe. How are you this evening?
Hiya, Pen. I'm Grant. Yeah, Grant.
Good, good. So this week we'll look at the Stayers Hurdle. So maybe you could tell me a little bit more about this race.
Yeah, it's of all the Cheltenham Festival races, it's a race I tend to struggle at.
Oh.
Always back English Drever, and I always back Big Bucks because I was a massive fan of those horses. But since Big Bucks won it in 2012, I don't think I've backed the winner. I've really struggled with it, and I'm hoping we can change that stat this year. So yeah, what you're looking for is either for age, you're looking for 6 to 9.
Right.
You don't want a 5-year-old or younger, and you don't want a 10-year-old or older. You know, as I said, those two horses I've mentioned really did win it over a long period of time. Big Bucks was arguably the greatest stayer we've ever seen and ever likely to see. And I'm just looking, since Big Bucks won it in 2012, there's been some strange results in the race. Like last year, I didn't give Flooring Porter a hope in hell of winning the race, you know. 12 to 1. The year before, Lisnagar Oscar won it at 50 to 1, Pen. Would you believe
it? What's a nice one.
Paisley Park, Penhill. It's a race that can throw up a strange result. It really is. You can get horses that have tried chasing and have failed, and then come back over hurdles and come on and win this race. You know, so it's a tough race to find the winner. It can be. It really can be. But you want to narrow down the field at this stage. You know, 6 to 9. Is what you want to be looking at.
Okay. So unlike some of the other races we've looked at, this is one that, you know, some horses have won more than once. So, you know, that's something interesting to kind of like look at, especially having horses that have won, you know, 4 times.
Big Bucks won it 4 times, but Big Bucks was a freak. Like he was like an equine cash machine, you know.
Wow.
Ingles Drever won it 3 times. But in the last sort of 10 years, as I said, it's thrown up some strange results, you know.
Yeah. So this is probably the trickier one to try and make a selection for, then, yeah.
It is tricky, yeah. But it's a race you can pick way out. You can pick this early on in the season because you know you have a good idea as to who's going to run in it, you know. You know.
So shall we have a little look at your selections?
Yeah, we'll have a look. Well, I'll look at the market first of all as we sit, and as I said, we're still miles out. It's quite interesting. You've Classical Dream is the favourite at 4 to 1, and if he turns up on the day, as far as I'm concerned, I think he wins. He won the Supreme a few years ago, so he's improved massively for a step up in trip. We know he likes Cheltenham. He's with Willie Mullins. If he turns up on the day fitting well, he will win this race, I think, you know. But the fact of the matter is the horse is extremely delicate, constantly getting little injuries here, there and everywhere. And he's not one you want to be relying on at 4 to 1 at this stage, you know. There's a very big possibility he won't actually turn up. Then you've Buzz is second favourite after what he did at Ascot a couple of weeks ago. For me, he's a handicapper. Now, he's a very good handicapper, but he's not a Grade 1 winner in my book. I couldn't be having Buzz at any price.
No.
You have Time Hill is the third favourite, and Time Hill's a fabulous horse. But at Grade 1 level, he just, and in this race and over 3 miles, he just seems to find 1 or 2 too good every time. And I have a feeling he'll be placed in this race, but I don't think he'll win it. Flooring Porter, last year's winner, 10 to 1. I couldn't have him at all for the race last year, but he won it, and he won it well, and he did it well.
Yeah.
Possibly it was a weak race. I think if the likes of Classical Dream turned up, I think he's going to be put in his place this year. Then you have Latest Exhibition. Like, for goodness sake, what's he still in the market for? He was killed today. Latest Exhibition lost his life today at Fairyhouse, and it was a shocking thing, because fabulous, like a horse with immense potential, and Paul Nolan absolutely loved him. So R.I.P. to him. It's a tragedy now. We've lost Latest Exhibition. You then have Galloping Deschamps. Willie has said he's going over fences. He's going novice chasing this season, so he's not going to turn up in this race. I know Willie can change his mind, but he was very sure in the stable tour that Galloping Deschamps will go over fences and will be aimed at the Brown Advisory. Sire de Bourlay for me is a handicapper, and I think he won the Pretemps a couple of years ago. I think he tried this race last year and wasn't good enough. So at 16-1, I can't be having him. Ronald Pump's very, very interesting. He ran today at Fairyhouse over 2.5 behind Honeysuckle. Ran a reasonable race, and of course the 3 miles would suit him a lot better than the 2.5 today. But he's a big price, and I wouldn't be talking many people out of backing him anti-post. He's not gonna make the final 2, but Ronald Pump's an interesting horse for this, and that is a big price. Sporting John is 20s, won the handicap at Ascot a couple of weeks ago over 3 miles, and absolutely improved head over heels for the 3 miles. I have 2 problems with Sporting John, and the first problem is I think he's better going right-handed. Now, I might be wrong there, and that might be a little bit harsh, but he certainly improved for the step up to 3 miles. But I think right-handed suits him better, and I'm not sure Cheltenham suits him. I don't think he's a Cheltenham horse. Right. And if I was JP, I'd be. He won the last day, but his form might tail off now, and you may end up seeing him in the Pretemps. Because I don't think he's good enough for this. Bob Ollinger, obviously, arguably the greatest national hunt horse in training, is going for the Marsh Chase. Won't run in this. Champ is he's going to be 10 in March. He's had horrendous back problems. He won the RSA a couple of years ago, very, very impressively at the end, and outstayed Minella Indo, who obviously went on and won a Gold Cup. So Champ is a hugely talented horse, but he's had his injuries, and at 10 years of age, I don't even think a 10-year-old's won this race, is it, ever? I think we were talking earlier, Penn, you've got to go way back.
Yeah.
With the injuries he's had and stuff, I can't be having Champ at all.
No.
And then suddenly you're into the likes of horses that are just not going to run. And again, like we said before, are not good enough. But I have found 2 at very big prices that I like.
Okay, well, shall we have a look at them?
We will, but I'll just highlight. I will highlight Ronald Pump as an interesting horse. And I'm going to highlight another one who has not made our selections, but there's a horse at 50-1, right? And he's trained by Willie Mullins, called Jon Snow.
Oh, right, yeah.
I think he was named after the newsreader. I think there's a newsreader called Jon Snow.
Or the character from Game of Thrones.
You're probably right, actually. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. But I don't watch Game of Thrones, so I've seen it. So maybe I will. I think you've told me to watch this. Jon Snow hasn't ran since August 2020.
Oh.
But if you look at his form, he just destroys horses. Has he been beaten? I don't even think he's been beaten, has he?
Is he not? Is it because of injury or?
Well, I've people that are in the know. I know people that will know, and I will talk to them about this, because this horse keeps popping up on my radar, and I just want to know what is going on with this fella, because he's shown ridiculous ability.
Mm.
So I've just clicked on him there, his form there. So the last time he ran was at Kilbeggan in August 2020, and he beat Sky Ace by 35 lengths, right? Sky Ace won the Mares final at a Fairy House in the spring at the Grand National meeting very easily herself. Like, she's rated. He beat her by 35 lengths. This is a potential monster. He's beat Belfast Banter by 8 lengths at Galway previous to that. Belfast Banter is a Grade 1 winner now. He came out and won a Grade 1 at Aintree in April. So this is top form. This horse is 50 to 1 for the Stayers. And I can't for the life of me understand why he's so big, but he hasn't ran in a long time. So I will try and find out. I know people in the know, so I'll ask people, but he must be having issues. He must be having injuries and stuff. Be that price, and he hasn't ran in so long. So he was very close to making the graph, but he is going to just lose out.
Okay, well, maybe he's on the back burner until, we have the final look when there could be some movement on the chart.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So we have come down on 2, and they're huge prices, because that's what we do. We advertise huge prices. The first one is Galliard de Menil, and you can get Galliard de Menil at 33s in a place. Now people are saying, oh, he's going to go novice chasing, and he's going to win the RSA, which is now called the Brown Advisory. But if you look at it, you need to have a second look, because if you look at the Stayers hurdle, Willie, when was the last time Willie won this race? He's won it twice. He won it at Nichols Canyon and Penn Hill. So he has trained a winner of this. So he has the favourite in Classical Dream. And like I said, Classical Dream is the worthy favourite in my book. He's my horse, but I don't back horses at 4 to 1. And he's immensely delicate. He's had injury problems left, right, and centre, and there's a huge cloud over him as to whether he'll actually turn up on the day. So at 4 to 1, you have to have doubts over him. And then you go down and you go, well, where's Willie's? Willie knows this better than anyone, that Classical Dream is extremely fragile. So where's his other Stayers horse? Galloping Deschamps has gone over fences, as he said. And then you go down and you go down, and Willie doesn't have a Stayers horse. He trains Jon Snow, who we've just mentioned, but there's obviously problems with Jon Snow. And at 50 to 1, the bookies know that. So as far as I'm concerned, Galliard de Menil, who has been touted at going novice chasing this season as well, Willie didn't even mention Galliard de Menil in the stable tour. And he quite confidently said that Galloping Deschamps is going over fences. So at 33 to 1 in a place, Galliard de Menil could be his Stayers horse. You cannot rely on Classical Dream. You can't. He's too fragile. And that's going to be our first selection. Galliard de Menil is immensely talented. And that is a massive, massive price. If he turns up on the day, he will be 5 or 6 to 1.
Wow.
And I think, from an anti-post way of looking at it, I think he's a great selection. Because I cannot see, if Classical Dream gets injured, where's Willie's other Stayers horse? There's none, apart from Jon Snow. And Jon Snow is 50 to 1 for a reason. He's probably had injuries. So that will be our first selection. Galliard de Menil, 33 to 1. If he turns up on the day, Pen, He will be 4 or 5 to 1, I'm telling you now.
Yeah, so it could be quite a nice little profit made out of that horse, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your second selection?
So the second one I've come down on as I go through the market is Brewing Up a Storm for Ollie Murphy.
Right.
And Brewing Up a Storm is a fascinating horse because he's very underestimated. And I think he's very underestimated for a couple of reasons. Ollie Murphy's been out of form for nearly 2 years. His horses have been running below par.
Right.
And he is now suddenly hit form. He's having a great season. Currently, in the last 2 weeks, he has a 32% strike rate. So his horses are flying. And what you do is when you have a trainer that's underperformed for, say, 2 years, right? When he suddenly hits form again and everything's right, you have a situation where his horses are very underestimated by the handicapper.
Yeah.
And his Cheltenham form is very interesting. Back in the day when he was in form, he was fourth in a Ballymore behind City Island, and City Island himself has had, I think he's retired now, he got injured or whatever, but that was a decent race. And he ran in the trial for the Ballymore in the January before, and he was leading coming over the last against Birchdale of Nicky Henderson's. Now Birchdale was a very, very good horse, but just I don't know what happened to him. He just went out like a light. He's gone. I think don't know what's happened to him. He's retired now, but he was very highly touted at the time.
Yeah.
And I just think the 3 miles, Cheltenham, the fact that Ollie's been out of form for 2 years, I think Brewing Up a Storm is very underestimated. The last day, a couple of weeks ago, he absolutely bolted up at Aintree. He beat If the Cap Fits by 9 lengths. And it was a very taken performance over 2.5. He beat a Stayers Hurdle winner in that race, Listen to Gar Oscar. And I just think he's massively underrated. And he is going to be our second choice.
Wonderful. Well, I've obviously updated the charts, which I'll reveal in a moment, but I've got slightly different odds to you, so I might have to update that. So I've got different, I don't know whether they've already started.
So what were you looking at? What have you got, Galloping? What have you got, Galliard and Manil?
I've got them both on. Well, I'll show you the charts, but it might be that they've already started to come down a little bit since you chose them. They're both on the 25s, so
yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Still good prices.
Currently, you can get Galliard and Manil at 33s in a place. Brewing Up a Storm is 25s, best price 25s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm delighted with them 2 picks, really, this far out. When the chart is full, as we get closer to Cheltenham, we're going to have horses that get injured or won't turn up, and they'll end up going for different races or whatever. But I'm just hoping that the prices we're taking is going to compensate for that, and hopefully the chart will bear a profit.
Yeah. I mean, we've got some really good prices on the board, haven't we, so far? So,
well, Galliard and Manil turns up in this, he'd be 4 or 5 to 1. He's not the monster, like. So
brilliant.
Yeah, I'm happy enough with that.
Good. Yeah. What are we going to look at next week?
The Mares Hurdle.
Okay.
Like I said before, this far out, you need to choose races where you're confident in who's going to turn up. And I know some of our selections you're a little bit unsure, but at least you're getting the value and the price.
Yeah.
But the Mayor's Hurdle will be next, and I have a very interesting couple for that.
Oh, very good.
So yeah.
Well, I'll definitely look forward to our next chat and now to find out all about that race and hear your next selections.
Thanks, Pen.
So have a great week, and we'll chat again next week.
Okay. God bless.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.